Any additions?
I got some old business, but
Yeah, we'll break it up. All those in favor?
I,
Can I get the approval of the minutes from the town board meetings on the 8th and the 22nd?
So moved.
Any additions, corrections on those meetings? All those in favor? Okay, public to be heard? Pat?
Yeah. Few things, you know, I'm always here for the same one major thing. The trees, cleaning them out, when were they gonna get them cleaned out?
Well, I would think when they go to do the ditching, in which I talked to Bob the other day, probably as recently as what day is today? Thursday, I think I talked to him on Tuesday. That, you know, that was the biggest issue. I don't know if I spoke to you or not, since our conversation at last board meeting, whenever it was. We had a concern of flooding in the same development up by the Phillips residence and Seville residents, that they were flooding and there wasn't big enough, and they want us to expand their drainage up there. And if we expand their drainage up there, then it would put more water down by you. So I said, and so I told them that we couldn't do anything for them until we finished widening out the area where it leaves down behind your house, because you have flooding issues. So I'm not gonna put more water into into you. And so now now the question is, how do we get more water to go down that way to prevent the flooding up there? Do we run it, you know, in front of your house and go down by we're across this by Jane Fox and go down that way so it bypasses you? So that's, and you know, and there is one private culvert that it's only it goes, the problem is you got like a 12-inch and an 8-inch pipe going into a 6-inch pipe going down by Phillips's house. So we got to expand that on private land and getting easements, stuff like that. So so the project behind your house, according to Bob, will be dredged and widened very soon. So when the equipment's there, I would assume they would come in from the back area and grab those trees at that time. So, but the plan is there. And I hate to say it, was just they're just so overwhelmed with, you know, everything else going on right now. You're the next major project that's going to happen is getting that taken care of. So
My other thing with that, my proposal for my backyard is get rid of that pipe in my backyard. I'm actually I'm demanding you guys to get rid of it, because it will fix my problem. If you get rid of that pipe and you trench it out wide, and maybe you could do something like this on 17 Green Lane's turn, where that one creek that comes through here, I think the town is responsible for that. It comes right through their front yard. Why couldn't we do that and behind my house with it, widen it out, no pipe, and then that water can go south?
that's, you talk about the stone area.
The stone, what are you talking about?
This, I'm over by,
I don't know the number. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, it used
I don't
to,
know.
Along the bend, yeah.
it used to be,
Open,
It
huh?
was across from Hogan's.
yeah.
Cross-
Hogan.
Cross-
They live across the street from the guy that does dry cleaner.
Yeah, but then, yeah, that was done privately. That was when they built the house, they paid for that themselves, that all the stone and stuff like that. So, and we've been told, and I have not heard it from Tom Donovan's mouth directly, but from what I understood is Tom, when he paid for that, he says if we rip that up, he's gonna sue the town for ripping it up. So you may want to talk to Tom Donovan.
I'm sorry, but Tom don't own the property anymore.
I know.
Tom should have complained about this when that pipe was put in. That too should have complained
Yeah.
about this back then.
Yep. Yeah.
Probably didn't care about it at the time because he didn't live on that part of his land,
Yeah,
but. And he don't own it no more.
right.
The problem is, I know Ed and Mr. Vitale came up and Bob made a comment saying, well, Tom doesn't want to look at an open ditch.
Well, I don't care about, yeah, that.
Or I mean, doesn't want to look at a ditch. Well, Tom don't own it anymore. And also, I don't want to look at a pipe that's sitting on top of my property. My thing is, if that pipe was down far enough in the ground, I could put a swale on top of that and keep water going south. I can't put a swale on top of a piece of plastic pipe.
Yes.
Because I gotta cut the top of the pipe off to do that.
Yeah, but I think that it's gonna go back to, when we met with soil and water, is that we can't go any deeper than what it is right now, because it basically will just puddle there, because there's no place for it to go, because it can't go uphill. So we have,
That's the problem. It is going uphill.
yeah,
And
right
it's
now,
backtracking into my.
right.
to my
So,
house.
so what they recommended was making, instead of the V right there, make it a U, bring back the banks, then slope the banks so we can cut it, we can cut it and maintain it on a proper angle, because right now we can't maintain anything back there, and have a flat bottom, so we have more volume, being able to hopefully have more volume, being able to go over, and it probably would flood the park more at the pond over there. So, but that's, as long as the water flows toward the lake, that's what we're gonna do. So I think the first thing to do before we even consider doing the culvert removal, which, it's your property, you can do whatever you want.
But it's your pipe. I'm not paying to have this done.
Well,
That's my concern.
and I think that the position of the board is the pipe is serving what it's supposed to do, is drainage.
But it's not, yes and no. It is certain, water will go through it.
Yep.
You will push water any way you can until it gets high enough where
Yep.
it can't go through it anymore. So then it's gonna find the least path of resistance. It's gonna follow. It's gonna take a left into my yard.
So I think what we need to do first is let's dredge that area first and open up that area. And at that point, I think before we do anything else, I think we gotta take a look and see what happens with that thing opened up before we go forward. So you know how fast we move, not that fast. So
I'm an old school mechanic, flat rate. I want things done. I mean, I have been coming up here since February of 22.
Yep.
With the same issue.
Yep.
And I'm really not gained anything except get more stressed out.
Yeah, we, I cared, I mean, I just, as far as Tuesday, we talked about it, and it's a priority. And I supposedly, I asked him on Tuesday, they said, did you call in the UFPO for that? He said, yes. I don't know, I haven't
Nobody's
looked,
been out there to mark anything.
no, well, then it
This
didn't
is
happen,
what
so
I'm dealing with.
I will follow up with Bob on the calling in of UFPO to see if it was or was not done. And if it wasn't done, I'll make sure it gets done, and then, we'll get there, as soon as we're able to legally dig, we will dig. So I will, again, I can't tell him what to do, but I will press upon him the urgency of
I
getting
mean,
it
this
done.
is, I hate to say this, but this is what we pay taxes for, aren't we?
Yeah.
We pay pretty much high taxes up here. And I'm not getting resolved.
Well,
anything.
I hate when people say that, because you do pay high amount of taxes, but the town tax, most of the taxes you pay do not go to the town. The town, you pay $1 for every $1,000 of assessed value. So a $300,000 house, you're paying $300 a year for town tax. And so I think, the rest of the money goes to school and county. We don't see any of that money. So so you got a problem with high taxes taken up in the school and the county. But the town tax, you get a fair deal for what you're paying for. So I do take offense to that. But I will, do, as I always say, I encourage Bob to do it on a priority list, but they're not like they're sitting around doing nothing. They're working their ass off too, and other jobs, and it's just, things get done. In summertime, like even now, the safety of the roads, cutting grass on the corners and the hedges on the edge of the road, you can't see on corners. They got to cut those grass. So you got one guy doing that. You got other guys doing other projects. So they're going nonstop. So it's not like they're not, and people are taking vacations. So I understand your frustration. I will do my best to make sure it gets done as quickly as they can do it.
All right, but I really think you really should consider just getting rid of my pipe no matter what. Because I have paid somebody to come out and put a laser on it, and it's wrong.
I mean, for us, taking the pipe off with the equipment's already there, it's just a matter of pulling the pipe, you
Yeah.
know,
It
But-
it
but
won't even
we're-
take more than a day to do it.
but I don't think we're gonna do more digging or anything. I think it's gonna be necessary if they pull the pipe, because they'll be right there, so. So, yeah, I think, is there a bridge there? I can't remembering now if it's gotta go, if we take the pipe up, it'd just be a pipe right to the open area, right?
That's right
Open
to your
ditch,
property.
so. That will be,
Doesn't that go into another area at the end of your property, isn't it?
That goes into you get the town of Owasco's,
Yeah,
the ditch that town or Bob's supposed to be cleaning out.
yeah,
After that all goes.
that needs to be done.
yeah, that's. It's been 2 months since Soil and Water's been out there to look at it, and Bob knows what he's gonna do.
We did get flooded out that one night. We got rain too at the back.
Yeah,
I mean, I went out and actually tried to dig around the stone to push water south, but
we had sewer overflows, and we had storm drain just popping. City, we had reported to the New York Alert, City of Auburn. On their combined sewer systems overflow, they had to report 2 different discharges into the outlet. So we did 1 discharge into the outlet that we had to report. So those, we had 2, just before midnight, we had 2.08 inches of rain in before
Really?
that one night, yeah. And that didn't include the rain that happened after midnight. So it was a tough night. So,
my other question, do we still need a permit to put a shed on your property?
yes,
Yes, yeah.
And you guys know what the boundary is off property line?
it's on the website, I believe, from my rec.
How big is it?
It's-
It's gonna be an 8 by 12.
I think it's 5
It's
feet,
5 foot,
5 foot
Yeah.
from
Mhm.
property, okay.
Mhm,
and the permit fees are on the website too.
$25.
$25,
Yep.
Or 75. maybe.
25.
I think it's $25.
Is it 25? Okay.
Yeah,
Over
they're on the website.
Over a certain
Yeah.
size, it goes up to
keeps
$75. So between 25 and
That's
75.
small.
Yeah, shed's like 25, if you wanna put a sign.
Yeah,
that's
that's
1.5
kind
million.
You know, from experience, huh? Yeah,
I think that's all I got, but
okay,
that's why I know they're busy, but it's
Yeah.
frustrating,
Yeah.
you know, we get torrential downpours, I start stressing.
I personally will talk to, and I know Mike talks to Bob on a regular basis. Mike, if you would talk to Bob,
I will.
you know, and
But
I
yeah,
don't know if you
here
guys
also
would
to-
consider when you took that pipe out, I know it's your pipe. But consider like what I said with the stone. You get this done like that, you'll never see me again, guarantee.
Oh, come on.
Never
say never.
I never say that.
Don't worry, if I have problems afterward, I'm done, I'm telling. I'm buying an apartment, I don't care.
There you go.
I'm
Okay,
tired of building houses.
there you go. Oh, you do a nice job at it, so,
All right,
okay,
just let me know.
all right.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
Let's see.
hey,
Nobody online.
Who's his name again?
McQueenie.
Pat,
Pat
McQueen.
McQueen,
yeah, Patrick. McQueen.
McQueen?
All right, the discussion on new, so is
There's nobody
yeah,
online.
so
wants
Rick,
to join.
did Rick call in at all, or no? Rick was gonna call in, because he went to New Jersey for a funeral,
Oh,
and he was gonna call in he was gonna leave there at 3 o'clock, calling out at 3 o'clock and call in on his way back. Maybe his Tesla fell right out of bed.
Right out of juice.
Yeah.
He couldn't charge his phone, so. Anyways, it's probably at Roscoe Diner right now. getting a
Roscoe's,
milkshake, a
yeah,
real milkshake, you know,
yeah. Roscoe, everybody seems to know Roscoe Diner.
a real milkshake. You know, so I did send out, basically, I got a message from Jeremy that he saw on Zillow, that one of the lots up in the paper streets at the end of Letchworth was up for sale. And we own a lot of property up there, so, you know, and it's not doing us any good, it's off the tax rolls. So one of the suggestions that Jeremy came up with, why don't we just see if we can sell some of that land and put it back on the tax rolls? And so I contacted a realtor, and I forwarded you his comments on what possibly the going rate would be for that. Rick, then I actually forwarded it to Rick. Rick actually forwarded, I think everybody our disposition policy
Yeah.
to selling property, what we have to do. So the question is, everybody's been copied that. So the question is, I'm not asking for a vote, but I'm just asking for a consensus is what is the position of the board and how do you feel about getting rid of that land and trying to
Where exactly are we talking about
If
here?
you were to go up Third and Fourth Ave and drive straight into the woods,
Uh-huh,
those are all parcel properties.
okay.
that black, and it's a paper street, so.
It's back on a tax
basically-
roll.
Yeah.
It's
So,
an extension.
They have no, we have no
So-
use for
There's
it.
no use, they were subdivided
Actually,
when they
yeah.
developed all this
Yeah.
area. There's a lot of parcels
This
that are
is
actually
the-
owned by other people up there too.
Oh, right.
Goes to Sacred Heart.
Is there roadway
land
anywhere
that,
there that
They
makes
have an
it?
easement. The Third and Fourth Ave is
Is it
listed as a roadway.
No,
in there, but
no,
it's
no,
not.
no, no, Kitty Lane.
So they
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to,
it starts there.
Yeah.
Oh, Clancy.
Clancy,
Clancy.
Clancy's concerned about that,
Yeah,
yeah.
No, it's not near, it's
Well,
kind of, but
behind.
We will Clancy, there was some property back there.
somebody else owns
Yeah,
that.
yeah, but they just bought it.
Rusty
Yeah,
Barrett owns that,
yeah,
owned it.
yeah. Then he just sold it. So. I think, what's his name just bought, Kuso bought it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he bought that property.
Yeah, there's
I mean,
there's like 8 acres in there.
Yeah,
is that what it is? It
So what we own, based on what I could see, ends up being like 40 something parcels. It's about
40.
It's quite a bit. So there's a lot, they're all, yeah, remember, they subdivided this as quarter acre lots or
Right.
smaller. So they're not,
I got a map.
when they could be combined, they could be a building lot. Somebody's selling about 2.6 acres between Second Ave and where Third Ave would continue if it were to be a roadway. And so obviously there's interest in the market. I might as well,
You'd have to subdivide.
it serves us no purpose. I don't see us ever putting anything on it.
Are the utilities there?
There's no utilities now.
So if anybody wanted to develop it, they've got.
They'd have to pay to connect it down to Letchworth Street. It's in the water and sewer
So,
district.
so basically, the realtor, look, they didn't get a chance to read the realtor thing. What he said was, you're better out selling as a whole.
Yeah.
And have like one person build a private house back there and, or developer, and then they could either use an E1 pump to pump their sewer and different water, private water line down. So basically, it's, just,
Mhm.
there's all different lands there. On paper, they're all subdivided out. So,
Right.
so
You're saying
it's right here, right here.
Just sell
These
the-
right here,
just
yeah.
the
This is
eight,
all
eight,
this
This is-
is-
this is
eight
the
acres.
extension right here.
Oh, I think ours is probably about,
It-
I would say
There's
it's about
nothing-
2.5
they're
from what it
subdivided.
looks like.
Oh,
There's a lot of,
that
there's a lot of
ours?
other sections that people
okay.
own.
This is
So
what
it's
it
not
was.
really
So
like
ours is
We own that
like
big
2
lot right
acres,
there.
2.5 or so.
about, yeah.
I'd say, I'd say,
Huh?
So if somebody bought it. could they
Uh,
subdivide
Is it wooded?
It's already subdivided. They could do whatever they want with it.
Not
It's a
legal.
residential zoned area, so it's,
Probably do. Like,
Long as
that's why
they got
Kuso
approval from
bought it.
zoning, they can
That's
put a
what I-
house on it.
that's what I was thinking was-
Houses,
Right,
yeah.
so I mean, they'd have to.
I know I heard something about people wanting to hunt back there. That's-
Yeah, so we, years ago, Mr. Crosby came in, he wanted the town to do a, deer calling, and get the permit and bait the deer and hunt at night and thin out the crowd because a lot of people were complaining that, especially up by the water tower, they were coming up and they had to go out every day and pick up deer poop because there's so much deer.
They pick up deer too. They're all getting hit.
Yeah,
Quite
so,
a bit of them up there.
so that's it. So how do you want me to proceed? You want me to continue to?
I don't see any reason why we need to keep it.
I say put it back on the tax rolls.
Yeah,
So do we want to use a broker or put it at Auctions International?
I think if we can do a broker, we might be able to get a developer to come in and might get a better price,
Mhm.
If you go through Auction International, you might get it'll be advertised, there'll be fair market value.
Yeah.
So he'll have to do fair market value if we do it that way.
Yeah.
And so our goal is to try to get fair market, according to the New York State law, we have to try to get fair market value, but we have to determine what fair market.
We have the
value is.
right to reserve.
Refuse any, offers
Yeah.
also, so.
So I think that would be the best way to go.
Yes, fine.
Fine, everybody fine? Okay. Enough about that. Fred, old business.
So, Rick's not here, but, I spoke with him yesterday, regarding again, last month I had talked to him about getting a hold of whoever to survey the land up in the hamlet for the playground. And I touched base with him yesterday. He hadn't done anything with that yet, but he assured me that he was reaching out yesterday. to whoever. he
Well,
uses.
we use,
You just paid a surveyor
we just
today.
we paid a surveyor today for the playground, but we could, Paul Woslowski or whatever, we can get a hold of him, or he can. get a
For
hold of him.
the one up in the
Yeah,
hamlet.
yeah.
Yeah, and I told him they could, let me know and I could send them the schematic or the drawing and do whatever to move that along, because I know that, the fire department wants to get that moving.
Okay.
All right, so we'll, so that my intention was to, because we had asked, Rick to facilitate that. Give him the opportunity to do that here in the next couple of weeks and then.
So you'll follow up with
I
that?
will follow up.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
that's your project.
And the only thing to follow up was that email I'd sent, remember just a message during this situation, the board is just, the fire commissioners is just looking for those three guarantees essentially that it's gonna be a playground, that you're gonna do something and.
Yeah,
they have
that's not
first
gonna
right-
sit. and you're
Yeah,
not
they have
gonna-
first right to buy it back. if
And they're
it's-
not gonna, we're
They're
not gonna
simple,
tear
they're just-
anything down without, putting something right back up.
So that was just their request and just communicating that.
Okay. Okay, anything else for old business? Okay, first resolution tonight, so we got a couple, now this is for the fire department at Jeremy's request. See, we got a typo in there, I got two resolutions there, we'll take that one out, is to, basically to schedule a public hearing to use a tax exemption for volunteer fire department. Ambulance workers to pursue state real property, so it's similar with what the county just did, so, but we have to advertise public, and we'll vote on it next month.
I believe it's volunteer firefighters, ambulance workers and private investigators. Isn't that-
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Are you volunteering that now, service?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so, I get a motion to discuss,
Second.
the discussions. Yeah, and
Seems like-
Jeremy, you're,
seems like the right thing to do.
yeah.
Yeah, I have to abstain from this, obviously.
but,
I can answer
you
any
want-
questions,
It doesn't really amount to a lot on tax exemption.
not for the town tax
No,
now,
no.
but combined, the goal is to make it worthwhile.
I think
so-
it's just the idea that you acknowledge that
Yeah,
valuable.
Yeah,
But it's one additional thing. I mean, I'm sure you're having trouble with recruitment, just like
Everybody
every
is.
place
Yeah.
else is.
They should have had
you know?
this years ago.
Yeah,
yeah, the state finally adopted something they were allowing about 31 counties already to do. And just said in the state budget last year, everyone can do it now, and that's where this comes from.
yeah, and so,
No-brainer.
At least they're getting something back for what they're doing.
so all those in favor?
Aye.
I'm abstaining.
Okay. The
Can't
next
vote
one,
on that one.
okay, this next one is and there's a couple of these in here, so we are applying for the sewer. Separation project on the three streets, Striker, Van Dyne and Second Ave. We are applying for more grant money, so this is a resolution for the engineers to submit on our behalf to the WIA grant application process. So can I get a motion,
Second,
Second,
take your pick, Lori.
Yep.
Whatever
All
you-
those in favor?
Aye.
Next resolution is revolving financing funds, it's basically the same thing, through the revolving fund sanitary sewer improvement project. So we gotta have this to submit with our grants, so can I get a motion for
So moved.
acceptance?
second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Another one is from Mr. Walt Aikman, is same thing, in order to submit for a forestry grant to help with tree removal, we're gonna apply for $75,000 application for a grant for help us fund some of the tree removals in town, they got people who buy houses with big trees.
those can be expensive.
They want to take them down, and underturn the property, so, well, we do that, and, it's who around here.
in the interest of public safety.
Yes, yeah, so all those in favor,
Aye.
Who was first and second?
okay, first and second,
choice.
your choice, take your pick,
Alright,
that was,
Brad,
like, that was true,
We got them.
okay,
okay. And then, the next one is, the audit and payment of claims, everybody So I saw some people reviewed the audit and payment claims. They're always here to review, but I reviewed them myself today. Didn't see anything that was out of whack. So I'm comfortable with it. Jeremy, you looked at it. I think Tony looked at it.
Yeah, I got one thing I wanna talk about, but
Okay, let's have a motion to discuss.
second,
Okay, yes, discussion.
the water truck, and I'm not arguing whether it's needed or not. The manner in which it was paid for. I'm a little frustrated with, as far as I guess the understanding is it was budgeted in 2021. Carried over, was now purchased last year, then ordered the beginning of this year. The water district has a vehicle reserve. It's got $11,000 vehicle reserve. Truck was 61,000, is paid for out of the equipment budget. I guess I don't understand, if we have this $11,000 in vehicle reserve, why wasn't that used for its purpose?
It should be.
Should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that $11,000 is sitting there locked away, waiting for a truck to be bought, and
Didn't we take the money out of that reserve account?
not that I'm aware of, it doesn't,
Well,
there'd have to be
I'll check
a
it.
public hearing. Well, public notice that you intend to use the reserve fund,
Oh, depends on
so,
how it was set up.
okay.
Depends on how it was set up.
So that was all out of the
How-
equipment
how-
fund from what it looked like on the document,
Equipment fund or?
water
Yeah,
district equipment fund.
Well, we can, if we have the ability to do a transfer, so,
Okay, as long as,
yeah, so
Or-
if my understanding is if it was, I believe, I can't recall.
it's determined, yeah, I know that,
We have so many
dependent on
reserve
everything, but-
funds. Some reserve funds were set up, we can take purchases out, money out by board resolution. Other ones like capital projects were set up, so we get a.
Permissive
permissive
referendum, yep.
referendum. So therefore, I don't know how that one was set up. I can ask Darcel in the
Okay.
morning. So I got two things to do. I got Darcel and I got Bob to ask 2 questions. So. So. Okay, and water fund. Okay, so if it was, we can take that vehicle fund.
all right, just wanted,
Yeah, yeah,
that's the purpose, I'm a reserve kind of guy, you can budget really well using your reserves, and it
yeah.
doesn't
that's
look
what-
like it was
that's what
used
the
in this
intent of the
situation,
reserve is
so,
for. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So,
We didn't have much money in there, did we?
no.
no, and I don't know why we even purchased it without the money being there. Unless it was a setup. I can't recall, because what actually happened, I think it was set up to do it, like you said, 2022, and it didn't 21.
Yeah, it was prior to me joining the board, and I don't remember or hearing
Yeah,
a
it was-
discussion
it
of a
was set
truck.
up in 21, and then because of COVID, we couldn't get the vehicle,
Yeah.
and then it
Things
was
got
an
screwed
order.
up this term.
It's just been sitting there waiting for it to
Yeah,
come
but-
in, and then finally, we carried it over. And then it finally came in. It's like, I know like Bob, when he ordered that York rake, I mean, not York rake, what's that?
The rock hound,
Rockhound.
yeah, I understand, there's
Yeah.
definitely equipment backups, as long as we got a reserve for a vehicle in a district, we should be
Oh, using it, yeah,
using it
absolutely,
like
100%,
that, so.
100%. Yeah, so, okay, all those in favor?
Right.
Any other comments or concerns first? Yeah, no, okay. So, I really, it really doesn't have to go in executive session, but the only final update that I have is that, with the, we may have to, as most of you know, I'm applying for a CFA grant, for $500,000 for the purchase of some land, to make a preserved trail. I may have to have a special meeting like with these resolutions that we did tonight. I may have to call a quick meeting just to approve
Grant
just to
submittal.
approve a grant submittal application. The board approves us accepting a grant if we were lucky enough to get it. So, the paperwork, I'm telling you, I already got 40 hours into this grant application. I'm freaking not even halfway done yet. And I'm like, right, I want to get done before I leave next Friday to go on my trip. And,
You doing it alone?
huh?
You're doing it alone,
What's that?
the grant
Yeah,
application?
yeah. But I got people, once I get it finished, I got the city of Auburn, I got Finger Lakes Land Trust, and I got the Nature Conservancy, and I've got other people who they're gonna review it for me and to
Good.
to make sure I got all my ducks in order, because this is the first time I've done a big one like this, but most other ones were just putting things together and that kind
Right.
of stuff, but this one's like,
Any narratives in it you ever do?
yeah, but what I did was I I'm an imitator, not an innovator, so I just, I looked at other successful grants and, you know, and so, you know, I'm not. I don't want to say it's plagiarizing, but I'm, you know, I know how to.
Mirroring what
wordsmith.
they've done
I know how
to be
wordsmith.
successful.
Already that.
Yeah, so I'm doing what it takes to get it done, so if I can get it in, I'll,
Anything I can do to help you
I
out.
appreciate that, and, but, I have to go to confession afterwards, you know,
Oh, my God.
yeah.
One other thing, seeing how you brought up the trees and those pain in the ass landowners.
Oh, yeah, yeah, there's a lot of,
When, and,
don't feel special.
and no. Oh, that's the last thing I feel. As part of the removal,
Yeah.
because we did the one adjacent to my place, we did a couple on Havens.
Yeah.
Right? Are those stumps gonna be removed?
The highway crew was just viewing one today.
Were they?
Yeah, they looks like it got ground. They were doing land restoration.
Well,
up
because
on Fletcher
have you talked
Street.
to Bob about those at all, or no?
It's not, it's not emergent. I'm just wondering if that's part of the process.
You're doing stump removals, right?
There's,
Grinding, yeah.
it'll be in the grant application and it's standard every time Mr. Cranebrook does that with Bob, they expect to come in and do the stump grinding.
They'll come back, hit them all, and then
Yeah,
they'll come and do dirt.
Yeah.
The highway department's been doing.
I just didn't know if I had to,
Don't burn it.
but yeah.
Please
I had
don't
to-
do
I had
that.
to fill it with kerosene.
Well, I did see how people can drill holes.
Yeah, don't do that,
And then
please.
you put the kerosene inside, let it cook
Yeah.
from the
Your
inside
neighbors
out.
will hate you for a
Some
week.
guy on the outlet down here, the red house on the other side of, across from, Renaro's, the guy was doing that down there for his tree stump, and like, every time I go by canoeing, it was cooking for days,
Mhm.
yeah, it's
I get a
terrible.
lot of phone calls on, they do it, so. Please don't burn stumps.
Okay,
We used to, when we got rid of marijuana during eradications, we would just get a backhoe and dig a big hole. And put all the marijuana in it and throw kerosene in or diesel fuel over top of it and
Now
burn
you
it.
could be in the
Burn it out.
business.
so is that where you got the term, you could take a trip without leaving the farm?
Well, we did it one year a little too close to the jail.
I'm excited.
That was fun.
Well, yeah, who's going nuts, huh?
Yeah.
Happy campers.
Happy hour.
All right, does anybody else have anything else before we adjourn?
No.
Michael, welcome here, you know. Come in anytime you want, you know, and, you know. And whatever questions you have, ask any of us, you know.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.